in the Mudbrat's garage, we're going to be taking a look at the YPVS, the Yamaha Power Valve System on this 1989 DT200R. There's not a lot of good videos on the YPVS on YouTube, and consider this one another one not so good video out there on YouTube. So I bought this bike. As you can see, it's in really good condition. Subscriber Mark Godfrey, he has the twin bike to this, and as soon as I went to start mine up, he said, "Your YPVS isn't working." I'm like, "How the hell do you know?" And he goes, "Listen," he turns his key and you can hear a servo motor going.
Mine doesn't do that. Mine is silent.
But the bike had a ton of power, so my valve is actually stuck wide open. A couple of things can happen is that valve can jam and get gummed up over time. That might be one of your problems. However, we just rebuilt the top end on this and it's moving freely. So the next thing we got to check is the servo motor, which I'm hoping that's what it is. 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. And then if it's not the servo motor, it's your controller, and that's a little bit trickier to fix. So let's pull this apart and have a look and see what we can find out. We're going to have to turn the gas off, remove the side panels, remove the skirts, remove the seat, remove the tank, and then we should be able to see what we're dealing with here. And there you'll see the fuel line, which is right here. And you just squeeze back that clamp and then get a small bolt or a golf tee. Works good to stick in the hose just in case there's any fuel in there. So apparently the neighbor's weed eating is more important than my YouTube videos. This is what we're looking at here. This is the YPVS. This is the cables that actually connect to the power valve itself. It goes up to here to the servo, which actually has the motor which turns that, and then that comes back here to the controller somewhere that actually works it. So we're going to take this off, try and leave the cables intact, and just see what happens from there. That lifts off. There's the motor. Guess we can put some voltage to it and see if it works. Red has the white line on it, and black does not. So let's hear if we hear it. Nothing. Motor's dead. Sounds like a weed eater. It is a weed eater. But that motor is dead. That makes sense. Little clips on those screws. I don't want to strip anything, and I don't want to break anything, so. And then just careful when you're pulling this apart because there's gears in there, see? Hopefully you can see that. There, we got that off anyway. That's all I needed. So what we need to do is we need to take these 2 screws out, and they're tiny. Just a little fabric tape there. We gotta get this gear off. Red will mark there. Weed eating's getting closer. Swear to God, every time I turn the camera on, the neighbors have to do their lawn care. Now this is a brass gear, so with a little bit of heat, we should be able to pry this off. It is just brass, so it should. Okay, I've pried the little brass gear off. So we're ready to find an electric motor for this. You can go on eBay. wait a few weeks, or you can find something that'll work. There's electric motors everywhere you look. Like your son's favorite RC dune buggy. There! It's even its own baggie. That up and we'll press that on. And okay, we've pressed that gear back on the pin, and we're ready to put this thing back in. And I'm rhyming again. But thanks again to Mark for consulting me on this and giving me the insight on und shield back on. Und shield. And then this sucker's ready to go back together. Board. Stick just like that. And there we go. Thing of beauty. Put the cover back on. Holes there it fits into. Each gear shaft fits into one of those holes. These little hooks are just for the rubber boot to hook onto, so they're only on the bottom side. Yeah, and then the boot pulls over like that, and those hooks just pop through. That can go back up in there. We'll plug the wires back in. There's a little alignment mark. There's a hole that you stick a tool in. We're going to use a center punch, and that hole has to be centered there. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. I think it's got to rotate a bit that way. The mechanics have a special tool that fits in there. And as long as it's centered, which it looks like it is, you snug these nuts up. Just down over them, and we're good. Check everything else for tautness. Well, I figured out what this little thing is. This little thing goes on the little servo gear thing, and the circuit board rests on it. So I gotta pop this whole thing apart again. My mistake, but I want it done right. And I mean, if the circuit board's flapping around, that could be dangerous. It might cause some damage. So know what I'm into now anyway, so it won't take long. Let's do it. It just goes like that. There we go. didn't take long long to rectify. I didn't think it would. It's kind of how easy the whole job is, really, because to take that motor out from there is really not much more. Okay, now I bent that. I got to bend it back.